Have you ever felt like the world is rushing past you, leaving you behind? Maybe you've noticed the changes in your energy, or how certain things just don't seem to hold the same weight as they used to. It's as though, with every passing year, something shifts. Not just in your body, but in the very way you experience life. If you've been feeling like this, you're not alone. Many of us reach a point where we start to reflect on our lives, and sometimes we find ourselves questioning what really matters. That's where Carl Jung's insight comes in. He once said, "When you choose absence, the universe rearranges itself." Now you might be wondering, what does that really mean? Especially for someone who's lived a full life, perhaps with plenty of challenges and triumphs along the way. Jung's words hold a powerful message about how we can find deeper meaning and understanding in our lives, especially as we move into our later years. In this video, we'll explore Jung's idea and break it down into practical wisdom that you can use. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of letting go of what no longer serves you, of expectations that are too heavy, and of the idea that we must constantly be chasing something outside ourselves. By the end of this video, you'll have a better sense of how to align yourself with the flow of life and find peace no matter your age. Let's start by considering the first part of Jung's idea: absence. It might sound strange at first, but choosing absence doesn't mean stepping away from life. It means deciding to let go of things that drain your energy or hold you back, whether that's old habits, regrets, or expectations from the past. As we grow older, we often realize that the more we try to hold on to everything, the more we cling to our past, to material possessions, or even to the idea of constant achievement, the more overwhelmed we can feel. Sometimes less really is more. For example, think about the clutter around you. Maybe you have a room filled with things you no longer need or use. It can be overwhelming just to look at it, and yet, the idea of clearing it out feels like a big task. But once you finally decide to let go, to make that absence in your life, it feels like a weight has been lifted. You begin to realize that clearing away the unnecessary gives you more space, physically and emotionally, to focus on what truly matters. It's not just about material things, though. It's also about clearing the emotional clutter. Jung believed that by creating space, by choosing absence, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. Think of it like cleaning out a drawer to make room for something new. The same applies to your mind and heart. When you remove old grudges, past disappointments, or unnecessary worries, you make room for new positive experiences. You give the universe space to rearrange itself in your favor. And here's where the magic happens. When we stop forcing things to happen and allow space for the universe to work, we start noticing new opportunities, new relationships, and even a new sense of purpose. The world doesn't just sit idly by, it reacts to your choices. When you choose to let go, you create a ripple effect that touches everything around you. But this doesn't mean you need to give up everything. It's about intentionality, choosing what to let go of and making room for something more meaningful. Perhaps it's about stopping the constant pursuit of doing and allowing yourself more time to simply be. Jung's wisdom encourages us to stop fighting against the flow of life and to start trusting the process. As we continue to explore this idea, think about the areas in your life where you may be holding on too tightly. Are there things you're doing just out of habit, not because they bring you joy or fulfillment? Are there relationships or responsibilities that you feel obligated to maintain, even though they no longer serve your well-being? Taking a moment to reflect on these things can be incredibly freeing. Now let's move into the second part of Jung's insight: how the universe rearranges itself once we choose absence. Jung didn't mean that everything will suddenly fall into place without effort. Instead, he was talking about how, when we make conscious choices to simplify our lives, the world responds in ways we might not expect. It's as if the universe recognizes your shift in focus and starts guiding you toward opportunities that align with your new mindset. Take, for instance, the story of someone who decided to retire early, not because they had to, but because they realized that they had worked hard enough and wanted to shift their focus to things that brought them joy. When they made that choice to step back, they weren't just creating absence in their daily routine. They were also creating space for new experiences to unfold. like starting a hobby they had always wanted to try or spending more time with family and friends. By choosing absence, they allowed the universe to guide them toward what truly mattered at this stage in their life. Choosing absence can also mean stepping back from the constant noise of the world, the pressure to stay busy, to keep up with trends, or to accumulate more. It's not about rejecting the world, but rather about choosing to engage with it on your own terms. And when you do, you often find that the universe, in its own way, brings exactly what you need to create a life filled with meaning and joy. This idea of the universe rearranging itself isn't just some abstract concept. It's something you can experience in your everyday life. It's about being present and open to the changes that naturally come when you choose to let go of old patterns and expectations. So, let's take a moment to think about how you might apply this principle in your own life. What are some areas where you can choose absence? What would happen if you allowed yourself more room to breathe, more space to reflect, and more time to enjoy the things that truly matter? Now that we've explored the first 2 points, what absence means and how the universe responds to it, let's dive deeper into how you can make this process a part of your life. By making small adjustments to your daily habits and mindset, you'll start to notice subtle shifts that can lead to greater peace and fulfillment. Let's take the next step and talk about how to create that space and what to do once it's made. Now that we've begun to explore the idea of choosing absence and how the universe rearranges itself in response, let's dive deeper into how you can make this principle a living, breathing part of your life. After all, it's one thing to understand the concept, but it's another to put it into practice in a way that feels meaningful and fulfilling for you. Let's start by talking about how to create space in your life. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, less is more, and while it may sound simple, it holds so much truth. The idea isn't to empty out your life entirely or give up all the things you love. It's about intentional choices, letting go of what no longer serves you, and making room for the things that truly matter. When we talk about creating space, we're not just talking about material clutter. Yes, physical clutter can be overwhelming, but there's also emotional clutter, the burdens of past regrets, unresolved conflicts, and unfulfilled expectations that can weigh heavily on your mind. Over time, all of this clutter can prevent you from living fully in the present moment. Think of it like gardening. If your garden is overrun with weeds, there's no room for your beautiful flowers or plants to grow. The same goes for your life. If you're holding on to old emotional baggage, if you're bogged down by past mistakes or what-ifs, it's hard to make space for new growth and new experiences. But when you start clearing out the weeds, whether they're mental, emotional, or even physical, you give yourself room to nurture the seeds of new opportunities, happiness, and peace. Creating space doesn't always mean you need to make big, dramatic changes. It can start with small daily actions. Maybe it's as simple as taking 10 minutes each day to reflect on what you're truly grateful for. It could be letting go of the need to stay busy all the time and choosing moments of stillness instead. Or perhaps it's about decluttering an area in your home that has been weighing on you for months. When you begin making these small changes, something incredible happens. You start to feel lighter. The mental fog begins to lift, and you create an openness within yourself for fresh, exciting possibilities. The universe starts to rearrange itself around you, helping you create a life that aligns with the intentions you set. Now, let's talk about the second part of Jung's idea, the idea that the universe responds to the absence you've created. As you begin to make space, you'll notice something magical. You'll start attracting new things into your life. This isn't about forcing things to happen, but rather about allowing things to unfold naturally. The truth is, when we choose absence, we are actively sending out a message to the world, to the universe, that we're ready for something new. It's like cleaning out a drawer and saying, I'm ready to put something else here, something that suits who I am now. And when you make that choice, the universe will respond in unexpected ways. Think about someone who has spent years in a job that no longer brings them joy. They've been holding on to it not because they enjoy it, but because it's familiar. It's comfortable. But one day they decide to step away, to choose absence. They might not have a plan yet, but the simple act of deciding to leave creates space. The universe then steps in and guides them toward new opportunities. Maybe they find themselves exploring a new hobby that turns into a side business, or perhaps they discover a new passion that completely shifts their life's direction. The key here is that by stepping back from what no longer serves you, you allow new possibilities to enter your life. This isn't a passive process, though. It's important to stay open and aware. When you create space, you're also making room for your intuition to guide you. This means paying attention to the small nudges, the subtle signs, and the opportunities that come your way. They might not always be what you expected, but they are often the very things that lead you to where you need to be. Sometimes, the universe rearranges itself in a way that feels surprising, but it always aligns with your deeper truth. One of the key parts of choosing absence is learning to trust in the process. Trust that by letting go of things that no longer serve you, you're creating an opportunity for something greater to come in. Trust that the universe doesn't leave you empty-handed. It simply clears out the old to make way for the new. Now, I know this might sound a bit abstract, so let's consider an example. Imagine you've spent many years being the caretaker in your family. You've put everyone else's needs ahead of your own. And while you've loved doing it, you've also felt drained and unappreciated at times. You realize that it's time to take a step back, to choose absence in this area of your life. You begin to prioritize your own needs, create boundaries, and allow others to take on more responsibility. At first, this might feel uncomfortable. You might worry about what others will think, or whether you'll be seen as selfish. But by choosing absence, you're not abandoning your loved ones. You're allowing them to step up in ways they haven't had to before. And in turn, you create more space in your life to focus on your own passions and joys. The universe, in its own way, will rearrange things, providing you with more balance and fulfillment. You may find yourself reconnecting with old friends, starting a new hobby, or even discovering a new purpose. The key here is that when you make space, whether by releasing old patterns, relationships, or responsibilities, you allow new things to enter your life that are better suited to who you are now. It's not about forcing change. It's about stepping back and letting life flow naturally. In the next part of this video, we'll take a closer look at how you can continue to trust in this process and embrace the changes that come your way. We'll discuss how to maintain this balance and continue creating room for growth as you move through life. Stay with me, because there's so much more to uncover in this journey of choosing absence and letting the universe work its magic in your life. Part 3. Final points and conclusion. Now that we've explored how choosing absence can open up new possibilities in your life, let's dive deeper into how you can maintain this new mindset and continue to make the most of the changes that come your way. As you've already seen, it's not just about letting go. It's about welcoming the space you've created and staying open to the new things that come in. This process is ongoing, and with a little practice, it can lead to profound shifts in your life. One of the most important things to remember as you move forward is that the universe doesn't always work in immediate, obvious ways. Sometimes the rearrangements it brings into your life are subtle. It might be a small coincidence, a conversation that sparks a new idea, or an opportunity that seems to come out of nowhere. This is why it's so important to stay open to life's unfolding. When you choose absence, the universe doesn't just step in to fill the gaps right away. It takes its time, and it often brings the right things to you at just the right moment. You might find that the process of letting go and creating space is a bit like planting a garden. At first, you may feel like nothing is happening, but over time, you'll see the growth. The seeds you've planted, whether they're emotional, intellectual, or spiritual, begin to blossom, and the universe starts to work with you to bring these seeds to fruition. Now, how do you continue to stay open and maintain this balance? One thing that can help is to cultivate a sense of mindfulness. By staying present and aware, you can keep your mind clear and your heart open to the possibilities around you. This means tuning into your intuition and listening for those subtle nudges that guide you toward new experiences. It's about trusting the flow of life and knowing that even when things feel uncertain or chaotic, you're exactly where you need to be. Mindfulness also involves recognizing when it's time to let go again. Just because you've created space once doesn't mean you won't need to create more space later on. Life is constantly changing, and as you evolve, so do your needs and desires. Don't be afraid to revisit the idea of absence when you feel that old patterns or energies are starting to crowd your life again. In fact, this continual process of release and renewal is what allows you to stay in alignment with who you truly are. Let's also take a moment to talk about trusting the process. Trusting the universe is not always easy. We live in a world where we're constantly taught to control everything, to make plans, set goals, and work tirelessly toward achieving them. But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply let go of that need to control every aspect of your life. By doing so, you open yourself up to a flow of energy that feels more natural and in tune with the rhythm of life. Think about a river. It doesn't try to force its way through obstacles, instead it flows around them, carving its path with patience and grace. The more you trust that life will unfold the way it's meant to, the more you'll begin to feel like you're flowing with it rather than fighting against it. Choosing absence is like clearing a path for that river to move through. It's about creating space so that you can flow with life's natural rhythm. You may wonder, though, what if nothing seems to change right away? What if you don't see the universe rearranging itself in the way you expect? That's okay. Change is often more subtle than we realize. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results, but remember, every small step you take toward letting go, every moment you choose to create space, is a step in the right direction. Just because you don't see instant changes doesn't mean things aren't shifting behind the scenes. The more you trust in the process, the more you'll begin to notice the shifts in your life. At this point, you might be wondering, what does all of this mean for you in practical terms? How do you continue to apply Jung's wisdom to your everyday life? Here are a few things to keep in mind. Let go of what no longer serves you. This could be material possessions, old emotional baggage, or habits that drain your energy. Create space for the things that truly matter to you. Whether it's taking time for self-care, connecting with loved ones, or simply allowing yourself to rest, give yourself permission to focus on what nourishes you. Trust the process. Trust that the universe is working in its own time, and that when you create space, it will fill it with the right experiences. Stay mindful and open. Cultivate an awareness of the present moment so you can continue to notice the subtle changes around you and embrace the opportunities that arise. Remember, this journey of choosing absence and letting the universe rearrange itself isn't about perfection. It's about progress and being willing to allow life to unfold in its own way. As you move forward, don't be afraid to let go of things that weigh you down, and don't be afraid to embrace the quiet moments of life that bring you peace. The more you allow space in your life, the more you'll find that the universe will guide you exactly where you need to go. In closing, I want to remind you that this process is not a one-time thing. It's a continuous journey, and as you choose absence, you're creating a life that's more aligned with who you truly are. Small steps can lead to profound changes, and every time you let go, you're making space for something new and beautiful to come into your life. So take a moment to reflect on what you might choose to let go of today. What can you clear out, physically, emotionally, or mentally, that will create space for something greater? And as you do, trust that the universe is rearranging itself to bring you exactly what you need. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope this video has inspired you to embrace the power of absence and the magic of letting go. If you've enjoyed this conversation, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that can help you live your best life no matter your age. Remember, the universe has a way of working things out. All you need to do is make the space. Here's to living with intention, peace, and an open heart at any stage of life. It seems we've reached the end of this particular video script, but there are endless ways to continue the journey of growth, reflection, and self-discovery. The process of choosing absence and allowing the universe to rearrange itself doesn't end here. In fact, it's a lifelong practice that we can all continue to explore, no matter where we are in life. As you move forward from this video, I encourage you to keep reflecting on your choices, what you decide to hold on to and what you choose to release. Remember, life is not about holding on tightly to everything. It's about knowing what to keep and what to let go of in order to make room for more of what truly matters. Every decision, no matter how small, creates a ripple effect, and you have the power to shape your reality by being mindful of what you let into your life and what you decide to step away from. As you embark on this journey, always remember that absence is not a void, it's an invitation for peace, clarity, and new possibilities. It's about trust. It's about embracing the unknown and allowing the universe to rearrange things in ways that we can't always predict but can always count on to bring us closer to our true selves. And the more you embrace this process, the more you'll find that life has a beautiful way of working out, often in ways you least expect. Thank you once again for joining me in this conversation. I hope the words shared here resonate with you as you navigate your own path of letting go and embracing the flow of life. Don't forget, you have the power to shape your own destiny, and sometimes, the most powerful way to move forward is to simply take a step back. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. What are some things you might be ready to release in order to make space for new experiences? How have you felt about the idea of choosing absence in your own life? I'd love to hear your stories and reflections. And if you found this video helpful, I'd love for you to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. We'll continue to explore ideas that encourage personal growth, peace, and a deeper connection with life. Remember, the universe is always working in your favor, especially when you create space for it to do so. Here's to choosing absence, trusting the process, and living with more intention and peace at every stage of life. Keep embracing the flow of life, and remember, your journey is just beginning.